The sky above Earth was quiet that night, but in the far reaches of the solar system, something stirred. Deep in the control room of the International Space Observatory, Dr. Amina Shah stared at the blinking screens. Signals had started appearing from near the asteroid belt, strange patterns that no human machine could explain. So the readings are increasing, her assistant whispered nervously. They are moving faster than any comet we know. Captain Raul Ortega of the Global Defense Fleet entered the room, his face tight with concern. We need to confirm this immediately, he said. If it is what I think, Earth could be in danger. Meanwhile, news outlets across the globe were receiving reports of unusual electromagnetic signals. People looked up at the night sky, unaware of the shadows slowly moving toward Mars. The world was calm, but in the void of space, alien ships moved like dark predators, silent and deliberate. The alien fleet was unlike anything humans had imagined. Massive, sharp-edged, and glowing with strange light. Scientists argued over the meaning of the signals, while governments scrambled for answers. At the United Nations headquarters, an emergency meeting was called. Leaders debated whether to send a message of peace or prepare for war, but time was slipping away. The fleet was getting closer, and every second counted. On Earth, people went about their lives, unaware of the approaching storm. Children played under streetlights, lovers walked along quiet beaches, and farmers tended their fields. Above them all, satellites picked up the fleet's approach, sending data to every major military base. Dr. Shah leaned closer to the monitor, eyes wide with fear and fascination. Captain Ortega, look at this, she said. They are heading straight for Mars, but their path shows Earth as a secondary target. The captain frowned. Even if Mars is first, we cannot let them get that far. We need a plan now. Back in orbit, the alien ships changed direction slightly, their glowing cores pulsing with energy. It was as if they were testing the defenses of the solar system, measuring strength and weaknesses. The observatory room was silent except for the constant hum of machines. Suddenly, alarms rang out, red lights flashing across every screen. A small asteroid that had been tracked for decades suddenly exploded near Jupiter, sending fragments toward the fleet. It's not an accident, Dr. Shah whispered. They are aware of us. Captain Ortega tightened his fists. Then we fight. Earth's first preparation for battle was quiet but urgent. Fleets were alerted, research labs ran non-stop, weapons were inspected, satellites ready, and every human who could contribute to the defense prepared for the unknown. In the darkness of space, the alien ships advanced, a silent threat growing closer to the red planet. From the control rooms on Earth to the lonely observatories in deserts and mountains, humans watched and waited. The tension was electric. Hearts raced as the world realized it was no longer alone. The alien fleet would not pause, and the first chapter of humanity's greatest test had begun. And somewhere far beyond Mars, the leaders of the alien armada observed, curious about these fragile blue creatures who dared to fight back. The night ended with Earth holding its breath. The arrival had begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. The world woke to news of the approaching alien fleet. Governments declared emergency measures, cities buzzed with tension, and the hum of preparation filled every corner of the globe. Captain Raul Ortega stood on the command deck of the Global Defense Fleet, staring at the holographic map of the solar system. We don't have much time, he said, voice firm. We must act before they reach Mars. Scientists worked around the clock in laboratories, building weapons that had only existed in theory. Dr. Amina Shah oversaw the final tests of a new plasma shield, her hands shaking with a mix of fear and determination. These shields could save entire cities, she said, but we need more power. We need more time. Meanwhile, special units trained for boarding alien ships. Men and women from every nation learned to fight together, overcoming language barriers and old rivalries. Tension was high, nerves were raw, but humanity had no choice but to unite. In orbit above Earth, satellites and defense stations were calibrated, weapons tested, and communication lines secured. Young pilots, some barely out of training, prepared for the first mission. They knew the odds were against them, but courage burned in their hearts. On the ground, civilians were evacuated from vulnerable areas, shelters stocked with food, water, and medical supplies. Families clung to each other, unsure if they would see another sunrise. In the deserts, scientists fired experimental lasers at targets, testing the limits of human technology, and in the mountains, engineers prepared electromagnetic pulse devices that could disable enemy ships. The world became a hive of activity, buzzing with determination and fear. Even in the midst of chaos, small acts of bravery appeared. A firefighter rescuing a trapped child, a soldier comforting a frightened colleague. Humanity was showing its true strength, not through machines alone, but through courage, unity, and will. Captain Ortega called a meeting with world leaders. "We face an enemy unlike any before," he said, "but our creativity and our courage can turn the tide." The leaders nodded, making decisions faster than they ever had. Alliances formed in hours instead of years. Amina Shah turned to her team. "If we fail here, Mars will fall. But if we succeed, we show the universe what humans can do." Time ticked away. The alien fleet was closer than anyone dared to admit. Sensors detected probes moving ahead of the main armada, mapping the solar system and testing defenses. Human fleets positioned themselves near Mars. Asteroids used as cover, the first line of defense ready. And yet, fear lingered, for no human knew the true power of these aliens. Some wondered if their weapons would even scratch the enemy. Others believed that humans could fight with cleverness, where technology alone could not. At night, people around the world looked up at the stars, some praying, some hoping, some simply staring in awe. The same stars that had always been beautiful now held the shadow of a terrible threat. Captain Ortega tightened his grip on the console. "It's almost time," he said. "We either fight now, or we watch Mars fall." Amina Shah checked her instruments one last time, sparks of light reflecting in her eyes. "We are ready," she whispered, "ready to show them that humans never give up." The tension grew. The countdown to the first battle had begun, and as Earth braced itself, the aliens continued their advance, unaware of the fierce spirit waiting for them. The story of humanity's fight was about to begin, and every choice, every plan, every act of courage would matter. The world had prepared, but no one knew what would happen next, and somewhere in the darkness of space, the alien commanders noticed the preparations, curiosity and caution spreading among their ranks. The stage was set, the players ready, and the first clash between Earth and the alien invaders was about to erupt. Humanity had prepared, but the true test was still to come. The day had come, and the first wave of the alien fleet approached Mars. Human eyes in orbit, on Mars, and across Earth, watched in tense silence. Captain Raul Ortega gave the order. "All units, engage." Lasers fired from human ships, cutting through the dark of space, leaving streaks of bright blue and red. The alien ships responded instantly, energy beams striking the human fleet with terrifying precision. Explosions lit up the void, debris floating silently, deadly and beautiful at the same time. Young pilots screamed over comms, "Shields down, we can't hold much longer." But the veteran captains guided them with calm voices. "Stick to formation, use cover, wait for my mark." On Earth, scientists monitored every movement, adjusting weapons in real time, their fingers flying over keyboards. Dr. Amina Shah shouted, "Divert power to the front shields. We can't let them break through." Amid the chaos, humans showed courage, maneuvering ships through narrow asteroid paths, dodging enemy fire. Some ships were hit and destroyed, screaming alarms echoing through the fleet. And yet, humans adapted quickly, repairing shields, rerouting power, and finding weak points in the alien formations. Captain Ortega locked eyes on the alien flagship, a massive vessel glowing with strange energy. "It must be taken down," he said. "It leads the attack, and if we destroy it, the rest will fall into chaos." A daring squadron volunteered to strike, weaving through fire and debris, engines straining against the pull of nearby planets. The flagship fired, obliterating smaller ships in seconds, sending shockwaves through the human fleet. But the squadron pressed on, guided by skill, bravery, and a refusal to fail. Meanwhile, Earth-based weapons fired long-range beams, striking alien ships as they entered Mars orbit. Explosions illuminated the dark side of the red planet, a grim reminder of the stakes. Inside one human ship, a young pilot named Lila Chen faced her fear, hands trembling on the controls. "Remember your training," she whispered. "We fight for everyone on Earth." Her ship dodged a beam, twisting with impossible agility, striking an alien ship directly and causing it to spin out of control. Elsewhere, engineers on Mars watched in awe, some cheering, some biting their nails in anxiety. The alien fleet began to falter slightly, confusion spreading as humans exploited weaknesses. Captain Ortega barked orders, coordinating attacks across thousands of ships. The battle raged on, energy beams colliding, explosions tearing through the void. And yet, for every alien ship destroyed, another seemed to appear, relentless and calculating. Dr. Shah realized the aliens were testing them, gauging human strength, learning their patterns. "We need a new strategy," she shouted. "We can't just fight blindly." Ortega nodded. "Then we lure them into the asteroid field. We'll use terrain and traps." The humans executed the plan flawlessly, weaving alien ships into dangerous paths, causing collisions and massive damage. But as victory seemed near, a shadow loomed. The alien flagship turned its attention directly to Earth. The fleet froze in fear, realizing the true threat was still out there. Powerful and intelligent, the first battle was over. But the fight was far from won. Humanity had shown courage, skill, and resilience. But the aliens had not revealed all their power. As the fleet regrouped, repairs began, and strategy meetings formed. Captain Ortega looked at the stars. "They think they can scare us, but Earth will not fall." Dr. Shah nodded, exhaustion and determination in her eyes. "We've only begun to fight, but they will learn one thing. Humans never give up." And somewhere deep in the alien command, leaders studied the humans, intrigued and cautious, realizing that these creatures were unlike any they had faced before. The first battle was a warning, a test, and a promise that the war for the solar system had only just begun. The remnants of the human fleet regrouped near Mars, battered but unbroken. Captain Raul Ortega surveyed the holographic map, lines of strategy flashing across the screen. "We've learned their patterns," he said. "Now we hit where they least expect." Dr. Amina Shah worked feverishly on her console, analyzing the alien ship's energy readings. "They have a weak core in the flagship," she said. "If we target it, the rest will falter." A daring plan formed, risky but necessary. The humans divided their fleet, some acting as decoys, drawing the alien forces into a trap. The special strike team prepared to board the alien flagship directly, a mission considered nearly impossible. Pilots gripped their controls tightly, engines humming, hearts pounding, but determination burning inside them. As the fleet advanced, aliens fired relentlessly, energy beams slicing through the void. Human shields absorbed many strikes, but ships were still falling. Explosions lit up the darkness like deadly fireworks, debris drifting silently. Leela Chen led her squadron through the chaos, twisting and dodging with unmatched skill. Behind them, engineers on Mars activated electromagnetic pulse devices, sending waves toward the alien ships. The pulses hit, causing temporary malfunctions, giving humans the opening they needed. Ortega's fleet attacked the flagship from all sides, coordinated strikes, hitting weak points identified by Shah. Inside the flagship, the aliens realized humans were cleverer than expected. Panic rippling through their command, the boarding team entered the ship, cutting through alien defenses with advanced weapons, moving quickly and silently. Every step was tense, every decision critical. One mistake could cost their lives. The team reached the core, setting charges that would destroy the flagship from within. Outside, the human fleet pressed on, lasers striking the alien ships, exploiting confusion. One by one, alien vessels began to fall, collisions and explosions lighting the void. The tide of the battle slowly shifted, humans gaining ground with skill and bravery. Captain Ortega's voice rang over comms. "Hold the line, keep pushing. We are turning the tide." Even the youngest pilots felt their fear transform into courage, knowing that their actions were saving not just Mars, but Earth itself. On Mars, scientists and engineers watched anxiously as the flagship trembled, the charges inside preparing to detonate. Then, a massive explosion shook the flagship, tearing it apart, sending fragments scattering into space. The alien fleet reeled in shock, disorganized and vulnerable. Human ships seized the moment, attacking with precision, turning chaos into advantage. The battlefield shifted, humans now controlling the flow, using tactics, traps, and courage. Dr. Shah and Ortega exchanged a glance, a silent acknowledgement of the risk and reward. But the aliens were not yet defeated. Their remaining ships regrouped, forming a new strategy. The humans understood the war was far from over, but the first real victory had been claimed. Hope spread through the fleet like fire. Voices over comes filled with relief and determination. "Today we showed them what humans can do," Ortega said. "But tomorrow, we finish this fight." From the shadows of space, the alien leaders observed, shocked and wary. They realized that humans were not only clever and brave, but unpredictable, a species that would not surrender easily, and on Earth, people held their breath, watching as news of the battle spread. Humanity had turned the tide once, but the war was not finished. Every life, every plan, every act of courage mattered, and the story of human defiance was far from over. The stars above seemed a little brighter that night, as if acknowledging that Earth had survived, and somewhere in the void, the aliens prepared for the next challenge, knowing that humans would never give up. The battle had changed, hope had returned, and humanity's spirit shone brighter than ever before. The alien fleet was in retreat, battered and broken. Human ships chased the remnants, pressing their advantage, but careful not to lose more lives than necessary. Captain Raul Ortega watched the battlefield from his command ship, his eyes scanning the scattered enemy vessels. "We've done it," he whispered. Though his voice carried both relief and exhaustion, Dr. Amina Shah stood beside him, monitoring the last energy readings of the alien ships. "They won't recover quickly," she said. "The flagship's destruction shattered their formation. They are fleeing." On Mars, engineers and scientists cheered quietly, knowing their work had saved countless lives. Lila Chen and her squadron flew back to orbit, adrenaline still racing, hearts heavy with the memory of comrades lost. The cost had been high, many ships destroyed, many brave men and women gone, but the humans had shown courage, skill, and unity, defeating an enemy that had once seemed unstoppable. Earth and Mars were safe, for now, but the universe had seen the strength of humanity. News spread across the globe, families hugged, tears of relief and pride streaming down faces. Leaders addressed the world, praising bravery, ingenuity, and determination. People lit candles, sang songs, and celebrated quietly, for the memory of those who had given everything lingered. Captain Ortega addressed his crew. "We faced the impossible and survived. We showed them what humans are capable of." Dr. Shah looked at the night sky, stars shining as if in approval. "We have fought well," she said softly, "but we must be ready. The universe is vast, and there may be other threats." Lila Chen wrote a message home, her hands shaking. "We did it. We really did it." Even in victory, humans remembered the lessons of the battle. Courage mattered more than fear, unity more than division, and hope could overcome the darkest odds. Across Earth, people felt a new sense of pride, a belief that their small, fragile planet could stand against the cosmos. The alien leaders retreated to the far reaches of space, their curiosity about humans now mixed with respect, perhaps even fear, and in quiet observatories, scientists continued to study the stars, wondering what other challenges lay ahead. Captain Ortega stood on the bridge, watching the last alien ships vanish into the void. "This is not the end," he said, "but today, we won, and that matters." Dr. Shah nodded. "We fought together, and that is what makes us strong." The people of Earth had defended their home, shown ingenuity, courage, and heart, and though the cost was real, the victory proved that humans could face anything, that they were a species that would not bow to fear. As night fell over the planet, a quiet peace settled. For now, humanity had survived, but in the shadows of space, distant stars whispered of future challenges, and Earth's defenders knew one thing for certain: humanity would rise, fight, and protect their home. No matter the odds, the war had tested them, and they had prevailed. The stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, a tribute to courage, unity, and the spirit of humans, and somewhere far beyond, the universe now knew that Earth was defended by a species who would never surrender. Humanity had turned the impossible into reality, and the story of their bravery would echo across the stars. The battle was over, but the legend had only begun.